Medical professionals of Reddit, what's the worst piece of advice your patients have gotten from Dr. Google? A 2-week-old infant was admitted to my hospital with severe jaundice, which at birth is normal. The mother, though, hadn't been breastfeeding the child because she read on the internet that breastfeeding is bad for babies. She decided the next best thing to do would be to feed the child a mixture of cornstarch and water because formula was too expensive. Baby lived. Magically. People, though, man, edit, yes. Social workers and child protection were involved. That putting collard greens in her view was a good natural way to induce an abortion. Damn, I could write an essay on this. Any herbal supplement bullocks. For an example, when you first get out of school you have to put many hours in. Specifically at health clinics. You have no idea how dumb people are. One guy said he saw online that taking a knife to his goiter and draining it and cleaning it would be a good idea. Drinking sugar water with salt to make Gatorade would help with electrolytes that would help his high blood pressure. I can go on. Suppose the worst was a man with dementia and was told that he had to spend $5,000 for a prayer to cure him. They did it twice to him, because he forgot he gave the first time. My good friend in college once showed up randomly at my dorm in the middle of the night, freaking out because she thought she was having a miscarriage. This was a surprise to me because I knew she'd been on her period recently, so I asked her when she found out she was pregnant. She gave me a blank stare and then said, "You have to be pregnant to have a miscarriage?" I guess she just googled her symptoms, bleeding and abdominal pain, and settled on the first result without reading anything about it. The kicker was that she was really smart otherwise. I have no idea how she'd never heard of a miscarriage before. A couple had just had a baby, discussing contraception in postnatal period. They said they had been using the pill. They said they had been very compliant and they couldn't figure out how they'd gotten pregnant the first time. Guy pipes up and says, "Yeah, I take it one day and she takes it the next day." Total cluelessness. I suppose in their defense there's a certain logic to it. I'm a pharmacist, and I used to work in a large retail pharmacy. An older couple came in to pick up a prescription for tamoxifen, which blocks the ability of estrogen to stimulate breast cancer cell growth. As I'm ringing them up, they ask which aisle can they find vitamin C in. I ask them some further questions which reveals that they read online that vitamin C could treat and prevent cancer, and they wanted an additional remedy so that the wife would not have to take her medication and would never get breast cancer again. It was kind of sad, actually. Almost as bad as Dr. Google is Dr. Military doctor. Here's an ibuprofen for that broken leg. Oh, you have kidney stones. Here's an extra strength ibuprofen. I had a patient rub garlic and onions into an infected abscess and soaked it in undiluted bleach several times a day. He couldn't understand why it was getting worse and where his chemical burn came from. I've posted this before, but I had a patient with aggressive prostate cancer come in and tell me he hadn't been following up because he was drinking grape juice with baking soda, and that it was slowing the cancer growth. I told him in fact it was not, and the cancer was spreading. He said he disagreed and would continue with the juice. My boyfriend and I joke that his mother has an MD from the Dr. Oz School of Medicine, with a specialty in web and Yahoo answer searching. You think of a quack treatment, she'll tell you how it can cure my boyfriend's Lyme disease. She's all about detoxifying, raspberry ketones, lemon juice for curing cancer, high dose vitamin D, colloidal silver, salt caves, vitamin infusion therapy, Himalayan salt lamps, essential oils, burning sage to ward off evil spirits, Epsom salts. Her latest craze is hyperbaric oxygen therapy to cleanse toxins and heal brain damage. Never mind that HBOT is not FDA approved for brain conditions, and has not been shown to be effective for TB or brain damage, or that toxins are the ill humors of today's medically uneducated masses. They told my boyfriend that the HBOT makes his skin absorb oxygen, which is important because the skin is the largest organ, and oxygen is our most vital element because we're over 60% oxygen by weight. Pretty sure if cleansing the body with oxygen absorbed through the skin was a thing, we would have evolved without lungs or kidneys and livers. But what do I know? I'm only an engineer, not a doctor. In any case, my boyfriend has been feeling worse since starting HBOT. posting anonymously. Not a medical professional, but a science major working in research. Anyway, family member was diagnosed with relatively minor skin cancer. The surgery would have hardly been a surgery. This family member decides to, instead, embark on a multi-year treatment plan to kill the cancer through various means. Right now, this person is applying Cansema black salve to her skin, regularly and repeatedly. My contact family member in the area says that it is black, surrounded by red veins, smells absolutely ducking horrendous, and it now has this big pit at the location. I tried to send shocking material of people melting their noses right off of their face, things like that, but he refuses to believe that Cansema, highly caustic, reacts with organic material, that is, tissue, is actually capable of destroying tissue despite it doing the exact same thing to her, because, you know, what she uses only attacks cancer, right? It's pretty frustrating. This person is completely hooked on black salve treatments and it terrifies me. What would have been a minor scar is now a huge pitted mess of rot. Thanks, you Google quacks. There's a ton of other stuff like this going on, like drinking lots of baking soda to raise blood pH. Not understanding that we don't want our blood pH to change. Okay, thanks. End rant. Edit. You the Zagirian scammer commented below the following warning. More than side note, don't do a Google image search of black salve, especially if you're a trypophobe. On behalf of my sister, when I had my ileostomy bag, like a colostomy but for your small intestine, and by had, it was reversed in 2012 and my intestines are complete now. -3 feet. There was a blockage. A blockage is extremely painful as nothing can get out and you bloat very fast. You also vomit. You feel unbelievable stomach pains. It's like a trapped fart. The stoma is a tiny hole. I had a blockage and I was really upset and wanted to go to the ER. My older sister is a nurse and had been visiting us at the time. My mom said the internet says to stick your finger in the stoma and just pull it out. We stared at her, horrified. No one was putting any ducking fingers into a hole in my abdomen, into my intestines. My sister took me to the hospital herself. They gave me some drugs and I went under. They removed it. Turns out no one told me I couldn't have vegetables and fruits. I had carrots and strawberries the night before. They didn't go over very well. My mom is kind of a badass for wanting to do that for me, but holy it no mom. An effective method of birth control is abstaining when the woman is on her period, because you can only get pregnant when the egg is being released. The second part is true, but the egg is released and available to fertilize during ovulation, which is in the middle of the cycle, not during menses. You should abstain during ovulation to avoid pregnancy. Herbal supplements cure Parkinson's. All that Merkel a horset. Guy lived as a human statue for 10 years, communicating only by blinking. I came in, took one look, and dragged his ass to a neurologist. 1 month on the appropriate meds. He started walking, talking, and living semi-independently. It still pisses me off mightily. His mother, who was his sidekick and biggest supporter and instigator of this lunacy, felt he was betraying his spirit soul min thoughtfulness. She died of cancer after trying to treat it with herbs. Suducking prize. Dr. Google told me I had lupus. Jokes on Google. It was rheumatoid arthritis. The average specialty requires anywhere from 120,000 to 0,000 hours of training prior to being able to practice. And that's not counting subspecialization within a given specialty. The average idiot requires a superficial search without access to or understanding of medical research and a very small, very dangerous amount of information to believe they're better informed than their doctor. I'm all for patients being informed and making sound, rational decisions, but usually a small amount of information can result in an obstructive patient or family who prevents themselves or their loved one from receiving the best possible care. There are many good resources online to get yourself informed, but realize the docs are generally just trying to do their best. Example is the child of a patient who's a pre-med student. Read about a disease on Wikipedia, and now thinks she knows the technical aspects of a Whipple in addition to post-op management. Ask us what we're doing and why. I'm all for it. But don't halt us at every damn step when we're just trying to make sure your parent has enough fluid in his vascular tree to piss normally. Also, assholes who don't vaccinate their children. Source: Chief Surgical Resident at a large community hospital in a major city. Not a dentist myself, but I work the lab at an office and occasionally assist when I have free time. The anti-fluoride people who come in every now and then can cause some pretty big headaches. Their teeth will be in its shape, but they'll refuse even the simplest of treatments. You know, like brushing their teeth with a better toothpaste, because they're scared we're trying to poison them. There was one lady who went on a tirade about only allowing natural products in her body and strictly no chemicals, and how fluoride is scientifically proven to be toxic. I mean, it is toxic, but doses and all that. Even water can be fucking toxic. But then after trying explain and reason with her, she brought up her IQ and told the dentist she was smarter than him and that he didn't know what he was talking about. She got the red pen on her chart. I work at a veterinary clinic and this woman said that she read online that if she fed her dog only raw carrots for a few days that it would scrape any parasites out of the dog's intestines. She brought in a fecal sample for testing and it was 90% carrot. Cinnamon to treat diabetes. Patient came in telling my attending that she was pretty sure it worked because she checked her blood glucose and it was high. She took the 1000 mg of cinnamon pill, and a little later her glucose went down. Now, if you check your blood glucose, the next step is to correct with insulin. So we asked if she just took the cinnamon by itself or with the insulin. She says with the insulin. Then don't you think maybe, just maybe, it was the insulin that lowered your glucose levels? But nope. Cinnamon must have done the trick. It's all natural with good ingredients. Parents not getting their kids vaccinated. I just can't get my head around it at all. One of my colleagues, who is a pediatrician, finally said enough is enough and any parents that wouldn't vaccinate their child would be discharged from the practice and would be given other physicians' information because this particular physician would tell the parents I will not play a part in putting a potentially very sick child in an environment where they may hurt many more children. I gotta say, I found that really OG. Not a doctor, but a vet assistant. Please do not give your dog an enema at home, especially not by using a turkey baster. It will end badly for your dog. Not a doctor but my grandma thinks vitamins cure everything, including my mom's slipped discs, my uncle's pneumonia and my aunt's energy levels. So my uncle was in the hospital with really bad pneumonia, like removed part of his lung bad. She came in with a paper bag of vitamins and told him to take them. He did. Over the next few days his liver function slowed down to the point he was going in for surgery to see if he had cancer of the liver. They ran tests and it was so bad they were preparing my grandma for the worst. The day before the surgery the doctor came in to brief my uncle on what the plan of action was when he saw my uncle take a pill out of the paper bag and take it. He freaked out on my grandmother, confiscated the bag and a few weeks later my uncle's liver was good as new. Did the same thing with my aunt except she gets so sick it took them ages to find out why. But my grandmother is almost 80, takes so many vitamins every day and is in better health than all of us. Not a medical professional, but my dad has been ill for 15 years and my family and I have been his primary caregivers for the entirety. So we go to all of his doctor appointments. We've been through all of the stages of hoping something will slow down or reverse some effects of the illness. And we've tried just about anything you can do yourself. Any lifestyle change you can make to be healthier. Any at-home techniques to make things better. We've tried it all. We grew up eating all organic. Tried being vegetarian. All herbal supplements. Using all natural cleaning supplies. We had an all-natural wood sauna built in our garage. Anything hippie you could think of. Dad was kind of a hippie anyways. And the funniest thing I hear people claim they need to do waste money on is to go to a sauna strictly for the purpose of sweating out toxins. And I never say anything. And I laugh internally. That's not how it works. Your body gets rid of toxins automatically every day and the process isn't expedited by sweating profusely. Sweating can be very good for your skin. You can sweat out dirt, makeup, oils, bacteria that have been sitting in your pores. But it's not flushing out toxins from inside your body. And if no one could automatically get rid of toxins without having to sweat profusely, everyone would be dead. Eating a frog to cure epilepsy. I really think this is a good thread and Reddit needs more of the kind. Yesterday someone was convinced they got their strep wound infection from the air. I didn't ask where that logic came from, but I bet it had something to do with the internet. Treating breast cancer with herbs and sweet potatoes did not work, by the way. A woman my mom knew would give her kid popcorn every day as his vegetable. Not even kidding. Not a medic, but I once met a man who swore he cured his own prostate cancer by drinking 4 liters of water a day laced with X drops of hydrogen peroxide. Here's the science. Oxygen helps repair cells. Water has oxygen because it's H2O. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, therefore twice the oxygen equals twice the cell repair.